All right. Well, good morning. Today is Tuesday, August 17th, 2021, and this is a regular scheduled meeting of the Kings County Board of Supervisors. Due to issues arising from COVID-19, the board is using a WebEx teleconferencing format for today's meeting and may be participating via the World Wide Web. If you'd like to make a public comment through the teleconferencing format today, please make sure that you are identified by name in the WebEx system. For those interested in commenting during unscheduled appearances at 9 a.m., please use the raise your hand feature and wait to be recognized. You will be allowed up to 2 minutes for public comment. Members in the audience who have filled out speaker cards will be taken in the order that they were received by the clerk, and online speakers will be taken in the order that they appear in the WebEx program, showing that their hand is up. If you wish to speak today and are having issues with the raise your hand feature in the WebEx system, please physically raise your hand so that we may see you and then wait to be recognized. Each vote today will be a verbal or voice vote so that members of the public can hear how each board member has voted. After we have had a motion and a second regarding each item we're taking up today, there will be a roll call vote by district. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Joe Neves.
Here.
Richard Valley.
Here.
Doug Verboon.
Here.
Craig Peterson.
Here.
Richard Fagundes.
Here.
Okay, we have all members present this morning. So at this point, we'll move now to the second item on the agenda, which is the invocation. And we have Pastor Chad Fagundes from the Koinonia Church. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Good. Would you guys bow your head this morning with me in prayer? And so, Father, just pause in this moment because we recognize your grace and your mercy this morning. And so, Father, I just pray for your presence to be in the room and for everyone that is even coming through the online feature. I pray, Father, that your presence would be here, that they would be aware of it, God. I pray that today that you would open up heaven and that you would give favor to the Kings County, God, that you would give favor to the board this morning, that you would give them wisdom and discernment, Father, to make the hard decisions. I pray, Father, for this fresh sense of grace this morning, even for those who are going through difficult times, making difficult decisions. I pray, Father, that your presence would feel close and that they would feel like you're in it with them. And so, God, we thank you for that. We thank you that you're a close God and that you want to be a part of our lives. And so I pray again, favor, wisdom, God, discernment for the meeting today. And I pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Now, if you would all join me in the flags. Ready? Salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, this time we'll move to item 2, which is unscheduled appearances. Any person may directly address the board at this time on any items on the agenda or other items of interest to the public that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board. 2 minutes are allowed for each item.
I have Ed Catano. Go ahead and come forward, please.
My name is Ed Catano, and I'm glad you guys all started everything out with prayer, because that way you guys believe in Christian, you believe in Christian rights. I'm here today to discuss about discrimination going on in our town. We have Constitution. I'm going to read a law to you guys. Law of the land. The general misconception in any statute passed by legislation bearing the appearance of law constitutes the law of the land. The U.S. Constitution is the supreme law. You guys all hear that? The supreme law of the land. It is, valid as a supreme law of the land, and any statute to be valid must be agreement. In agreement, it is impossible for a law which violates the Constitution to be valid. This is successfully stated as follows, and it was done in 1803 through the Supreme Court Marbury versus Madison, right there. I wish I could put that on the screen so you could all see it. Now, what I'm complaining about is my wife is in a hospital right now. I'm sorry, I'm Portuguese and I get full-blooded. You guys all know. Okay, my wife is in a hospital right now and I can't see her because I didn't have the COVID test. Now, if I was vaccinated, and this is where the discrimination part comes, if I was vaccinated, I could walk right through that door, not be tested, not be nothing. And I could walk right through that door. I was masked the other day. I was told, I found out 3 hours before the visitation rights, my wife could possibly have cancer. They denied me the right to go see my wife. No man has that right. They don't have the God-given right. They don't have the constitutional right. You guys here all know the Constitution. You know these laws that the hospital's doing. Actually, the police, your guys' police came and removed me because that's their job. They had to follow that. They knew they were violating my Constitution, but they had to do it because that's their law mandated by the state. I don't think it's right that any man, any woman cannot see their loved ones when possibly they could be dying. I'm not speaking for myself. I'm speaking for every individual in this room, every individual in the United States of America. Nobody has the right to keep us from our loved ones. Nobody. That's all I got to say. You guys know what you need to do. All of you know what you need to do. You all believe in Jesus. I just heard the prayer. You know darn well you don't have the God-given right to do it. And you know by our Constitution, you don't have the legal right to do it. That's all I got to say.
Thank you for your comments.
Understands what our laws and what our rights is been violated. I've been thinking very seriously about suing the city and everything. I want you guys to start doing some action. I'm not stopping here. I'm gonna let you know that.
Thank you. Okay, next.
I do,
will see my wife in the hospital when she goes to die. I'm in prison, but I will see her.
I do have Lupe Villa with his hand raised.
Lupe, welcome.
Hey, good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Can you guys hear me well?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I just want to give the board, yourself and the board, a brief update on the upcoming September 14, 2021 California gubernatorial recall election. My office started sending out ballots on Saturday, August 14th. Those ballots have hit the mail stream. We started receiving those ballots as of yesterday. And I just want to encourage the voters of Kings County to ensure that they come out and vote. They are going to have 10 ballot drop boxes available to them to deposit their casted ballots. Additionally, we're going to have 6 polling locations, voting locations, starting September 11th through Election Day, Tuesday, September 14th, from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. And I just encourage the voters to come out and vote. We will be asking voters to wear their face coverings. So please prepare for CDC guidelines restrictions that we'll be applying during those days of voting. And I just want to share with you guys that so far we are doing well. We received in excess of about 100 ballots in one day, so we're expecting a high turnout for this upcoming recall election. Just a brief update for the board.
Thank you.
Any questions?
I see no questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Further comments?
And I understand Keith Fagundes has something to say this morning.
Yes, Keith Fagundes, District Attorney. Just wanted to update again on jury trial status with COVID numbers rising. Our staff announced ready again last Friday, but good cause was found by defense request to continue. So that was done. So we have no jury trials going out this week for the second week in a row. We do have 1,349 hearings otherwise that we will be attending, as well as filing 149 new complaints last week and receiving 169 new cases for review this week. So that's just the ongoing update, and hopefully next week we'll get some jury trials off. We have about 4 scheduled for next week.
Thank you. Further,
That's all I'm aware of.
all right. Seeing no further hand raised. Right. At this time, we have a special presentation. I'd like to invite the fire chief Chief Lynch, come forward, please.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Bill Lynch, Kings County Fire Department. Today we have a special person here with us, Penelope Saltre, a young woman who has a lot of challenges in her life, but as all people, she has a goal, and believe it or not, her goal is to be a firefighter. And I got to commend her for that because my goal is to be a firefighter too. So we have something in common. So I'd like to bring Penelope up. We have a resolution and a swearing in ceremony for her, and we have a badge that her mother will pin her with. So I'd like to bring them up. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, this is Penelope Saltre. You'll notice she has a very unique shirt on. It has a Hanford fire patch and a Kings County fire patch. So we're working in collaboration with the Hanford Fire Department on this monumentous task here. And with that, I would like to have the ceremony. Good job. Something else for you too. Okay, have something else. This is property. Have an honorary, please. Right. Every day the battle. That's
Right. Travel. Now that we're being resolved. Everybody. Hey. Right there.
All right, good job.
Great.
Good job.
Want a helmet?
It's fun. We had it here in 12 years. Exactly.
Well, there it is, going from one spectrum of life to the next, right? All right, we'll move now to item 4, which is approval of the minutes. And under 4A, report out on closed session from August 10th, 2021 and August 11th, 2021.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Your board took no reportable action last Tuesday, but on Wednesday, your board did conduct interviews for the new county administrative officer for Kings County. And so I'm particularly happy to report that you reached a decision, and that's going to be then recognizing Mr. Ed Hill as the new county administrative officer for Kings County, effective September 6th, 2021. He's here, by the way.
Hey.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, I just want to say that I'm honored and privileged by your confidence in me in expanding and continuing the services in Kings County. I'm very excited and I look forward to this challenge moving forward. While my official start date isn't until September 6th, I've already been communicating with the CAO's office to start preparing for the transition. I've also started the transition to my assistant directors of public health who are more than capable of continuing the public health mission in Kings County. Once again, thank you for this honor and I look forward to working with you in the future.
And for the record, it was a unanimous vote.
Thank you. Wonderful.
Welcome, Ed.
Any other comments?
I think he should show enthusiasm like he had prior. Any.
We don't have a helmet for him. We got to get him a helmet. He probably needs a combat helmet.
Yeah.
He's gonna need the helmet.
Yeah.
We'll
A hockey
Yeah.
mask.
start his education at School of Hard Knocks, right?
Yeah.
Although he's had a good run up over the last 18 months, so.
Been challenged
Yeah.
a bit.
Okay, we'll move to item 4B, which is approval of minutes from the August 10th, 2021 regular meeting. Board, what's your pleasure?
So move, Mr. Chair.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley,
Aye.
Doug Verboon,
Yes.
Craig Peterson,
Aye.
Richard Fagundes.
Yes.
Okay, we have 5 in favor. Motion carries. We'll move now to item 4C, which is approval of minutes from the August 11th, 2021 special meeting.
So moved.
Second. Yeah. 1 second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley,
Aye.
Doug Verboon,
Yes.
Craig Peterson,
Aye.
Richard Fagundes.
Yes.
Okay, we have 5 in favor. Motion carries as well. And we'll now move to the consent calendar as presented. Board, what's your pleasure?
Nevs moves as presented. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley,
Aye.
Doug Verboon,
Yes.
Craig Peterson,
Aye.
Richard Fagundes.
Yes.
Okay, we have 5 in favor. Motion carries. So now we'll move to the next item is regular agenda items. And so we'll move to item 6A, which is Community Development Agency and Chuck Kinney.
He is
Good
on.
morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Thank you and welcome.
Thank you. Chuck Kinney with Community Development, coming before you today to provide the monthly report from the August 2nd Planning Commission meeting. At that meeting, there were 3 projects which were considered. The first project that they considered was conditional use permit number 19-09 for SAC Wireless Verizon. The Planning Commission considered a proposal to establish a new 100-foot monopole telecommunication facility with 4-foot microwave antennas at 75 feet, 9 8-foot panel antennas at 96 feet, and a standby generator with 96-gallon diesel tank. The project is located at 9324 13th and a half Avenue in Hanford, and this project was approved 4 in favor and 1 absent. The second project was conditional use permit number 20-05 for Foster Farms. The Planning Commission considered a proposal to establish a poultry ranch on the site of the non-operational home ranch to raise turkeys and chickens and to construct 100,000 square foot of outdoor poultry pens, which are going to be located between the existing poultry shelters. That project is located at 16395 19th Avenue in Lamar and was approved 4 in favor and 1 absent. The final and third project that they considered was an extension of time for tentative tract number 852. The original application proposed to divide 50 acres into 39 lots with a single-family dwelling unit to be constructed on each lot. This project is located at 8606 14th Avenue. During the public hearing, there was discussion about the concern of 39 domestic wells being added to the area, and the applicant committed to limiting the drilling of new wells on each of the individual properties and instead only drilling 1 community well to provide water to all of the parcels. This extension of time was approved as modified, 4 in favor and 1 absent, and that concludes my report unless there's any questions.
Very good. Thank you for your report. Questions from the board? Seeing none. We will move to the approval of the Planning Commission's actions. Board?
Nevs moves.
Second, Wilson.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley,
Aye.
Doug Verboon,
Yes.
Craig Peterson,
Aye.
Richard Fagundes.
Yes.
Okay, we have 5 in favor. Motion carries. We'll now move to item 6B, which is from County Council. We have Diane Freeman today.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Diane Freeman. I have brought to your, for your consideration, two matters this morning. Both of them are appointments to the Dudley Ridge Water District Board. They are factually related, so I'm going to present them together and allow you to ask any questions. They will be separate considerations, though. The first agenda item is a request by district landowners to appoint Patrick O'Dowd to fill a vacancy on the district's board of directors. This vacancy was left by Mr. Jackson's resignation. Under this appointment, Mr. O'Dowd would take office immediately and serve until December 2021, when Mr. Jackson's term is naturally set to expire. You have received letters from district landowners presenting arguments for and against Mr. O'Dowd's appointment. The appointment to fill a vacancy is discretionary, meaning your board may, but is not required to appoint. The second agenda item is a request by the district to appoint both Mr. O'Dowd and Mr. Bernard Puget. I might say that wrong, pronounce that wrong, Puget, as the directors of the Dudley Ridge Water District in lieu of election. Under this appointment, Mr. O'Dowd and Mr. Puget would assume office in December 2021, each to new four-year terms. Mr. O'Dowd and Mr. Puget's appointments in lieu of election are not discretionary. They are like the appointments to fill a vacancy. The district's Assistant Secretary, Lori Salas, who is responsible for conducting the district's election, has certified that all the necessary conditions for appointment in lieu are satisfied, and therefore they are mandatory. Now, I will answer any questions that you may have.
Very good. Questions from the board? I know Mr. Dowd is in the audience and would like a few moments to say his piece. Mr. Dowd, would you care to address the board?
Thank you. Good morning. Chairman Peterson, Vice Chairman Neves, members of the board. My name is Patrick O'Dowd, and it's good to be back with you today. I'd first like to thank you for bringing this matter up for consideration. I'd also like to thank county staff for their work in preparing this packet, their thoughtful analysis, and their recommendation to support my early appointment to the Dudley Ridge Water District Board. I'll not take much of your time, but just want to say that I look forward to the opportunity to serve the Board of Dudley Ridge. And with your affirmative vote on this matter today, my ability to serve the district, the County of Kings, and the region will likely be greatly enhanced. I urge you to support staff's recommendation and vote to appoint me today to the Dudley Ridge Board. I'm happy to respond to any questions you might have. I thank you for your time, your consideration, and your public service. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions?
No, I have a comment. You know, I look forward to working with Dudley Ridge Water Authority and with Mr. O'Dowd. I know Mark Yoki is here today. This is important for them to continue on with their business, day-to-day business. They need a full board to take managed work. Water is very important to the county teams. I spoke to Mr. O'Dowd about that and my concerns. And just want to make sure we have a working relationship and constant communication from here on out. It's going to get tricky as we go forward with this drought and Sigma. So it's important that we keep all the ground viable to Kings County that produce water, produce crops with the water that comes through here. So with that, I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, thank you.
Neves will second.
Okay, we have a motion and second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley,
Aye.
Doug Verboon, Craig Peterson,
Aye.
Richard Fagundes.
Yes.
Okay, we have 5 in favor. Motion carries. We'll move to now item.
Mr. Chair, if I may clarify the record, was that a motion to approve both items?
Correct. Thank you.
Very good. I was just moving to item 2, so. Okay, we're good then. All right. We will move to item 6C, which comes from Public Works, and our Public Works Director, Dominic Taberski. Welcome.
Morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Dominic Tyberski, Public Works. I'm before you this morning to request authorization for the Public Works Director to sign the consultant services agreement with QK Incorporated to perform design services for the Burris and Hickey Park Shade Structure Project. In August of 2020, your board authorized the Public Works Director to apply for Proposition 68 grant funds for the purpose of improving Burris and Hickey Parks. In particular, the goal was to secure funding to design and construct shade structures over the existing play areas. County was successful in securing a $400,000 grant from the state. However, utilization of the grant required a 20% match in local or other funds. In November of 2020, your board accepted the $80,000 in matching funds from the Larry L. Hillbloom Foundation through the San Joaquin Valley Energy Organization. Once funding was secured through the RFP process, staff proceeded to secure or procure a consultant for design services. The initial round of submittals was deemed a failure as the cost of the proposals exceeded the amount budgeted for design. So staff retooled the RFP and was successful on the second round. QK Incorporated was selected based on their qualifications and their quality of proposal. The consultant services agreement, as presented before your board, was negotiated not to exceed $81,604. So at this time, be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, very good. Questions from the board on the honor?
Approve. I'll make a second, but we should have done this a long time ago because I think Supervisor Pagonis has been out in the sun too long. And if he'd have been on the swing set with a shade gun.
You just gotta give me a chair, put it in the right place.
All right, with that, we'll go to the vote. Madam Clerk, please call roll.
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley,
Aye.
Doug Verboon,
Yes.
Craig Peterson,
Aye.
Richard Fagundes.
Yes.
Okay, we have 5 in favor. Motion carries. We'll now move to item 2.
Thank you. The next item concerns an agreement between Kings County and the California High-Speed Rail Authority. Public Works is requesting approval of the right-of-way transfer agreement between Kings County and the California High-Speed Rail Authority and authorization for the chairman to sign the agreement. As part of the settlement agreement between the county and the authority as executed in August of 2019, the county gave the authority immediate right of possession and use of existing county rights of way for the purpose of constructing the high-speed rail line. Subsequent to that agreement and its implementation, the authority has acquired property for the realignment of a number of county roads as they cross over the rail line via structures built by the authority. This agreement serves to transfer the ownership of those impacted properties between the county and the authority. So at this time, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, very good. Questions on the honor?
Last second.
Okay, we have a motion and second. Madam Clerk, please call roll.
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley.
Aye.
Doug Verboon,
Yes.
Craig Peterson,
Aye.
Richard Fagundes.
Yes.
Okay, we have 5 in favor. Motion carries. We'll now move to item 3.
All right, very good. Thank you. And this is the last item for me today. This concerns the 16th Avenue Bridge Replacement Project. Public Works is requesting authorization for the chairman to sign the construction permit agreement for the assignment of easement rights from Newton Family Trust to Kings County for the 16th Avenue Bridge construction. This project will replace the existing wooden structure built in 1950 with a concrete box culvert on 16th Avenue at the Tulare Lake Canal just north of Nevada Avenue. Temporary encroachment on adjacent parcels is necessary for the bridge construction, which necessitated this agreement. This is the final step in completing the right-of-way certification process, which will allow staff to move forward with requesting construction funding, which we anticipate to receive by the end of 2021. And at this time, be happy to try to answer any questions.
All right, thank you.
Move approval.
Nev seconds.
Okay, we have a motion and second. Madam Clerk, please call roll.
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley.
Aye.
Doug Verboon,
Yes.
Craig Peterson,
Aye.
Richard Fagundes.
Yes.
Okay, we have 5 in favor. Motion carries. Thank you. Now move to item 6D1.
Good morning, board members. Carrie Martinez, Assistant County Administrative Officer. So on April 9th this year, the County Administrative Office launched a countywide photo contest for all county employees. The photo contest winner would have their winning photo placed on the cover of the adopted fiscal year 21-22 county budget book. A proposed budget must be adopted by the Board of Supervisors by the end of June for the following year to authorize spending authority until the adoption of the final budget. Today, we are scheduled to have our budget hearings. In the past, the county budget book cover has been a single color page chosen before the recommended budget is adopted. Next slide, please. if you look at the far left, that's typically how our budget book would look with the plain color. Since we launched this contest in 2019, we've been able to use the photos from the first contest for the last 2 fiscal years. To get the employees of the county involved in the design of the budget book, we launched 3 categories: Best Agricultural Photo of Kings, Best Landscape Photo of Kings, and Best Historical Building. The contest would have 4 winners, 1 for each category, and 1 overall winner, with the winning photo being on the budget book. In order to participate, county employees had to submit a waiver for each photo submission. This year, we received so many great photos, it was really hard for our judges to decide. We actually received 109 photos. All photos will be posted on an album on the intranet after today. And now I will go over the category winners. Next slide, please. So the best agricultural photo goes to Tina Blanchard from the Human Services Agency. And here is the winning photo. This is at the Silva Dairy. If Tina wants to go ahead and come up here. We have a certificate and a gift card. Yes, so everyone could see your photo.
Good job.
Thanks, Tina. And next we have Best Historical Photo. This actually goes to the winner of our 2009 photo contest winner, Jesus Tello. He works at Human Services Agency, and this is the Lacey Mining in Hanford. Milling, sorry.
Growing flower all over the state for businesses all over the state of California.
Yeah.
And they did those early this century.
Yeah. Good job.
Thank you. Very good.
And then for our next category of landscape, our best landscape photo goes to Carl Lemus, a heavy fire equipment operator in our fire department. He's unfortunately not here today. However, the fire chief will be accepting his award on his behalf.
Working on the dozer.
He's out of county.
All right, good job.
Okay, next slide, please. So for those who are joining us virtually, we wanted to show the winning trophy and that the overall winner will receive today. The overall winner also will receive a copy of the budget book with their photo printed on it. So if they have a few minutes, they can look at the county's revenues and expenditures for the year. And so now for our overall winner, next slide, please, is Carl Lemus with the dozer photo.
I mean, you got to put the fire department first in the budget book. It's like the All-Star game, you're supposed to.
We would like to know how Carl took that photo. Is he sitting there? Is he not sitting? Is he driving? Is he not?
Yeah. You can't tell. Yeah.
All right. That's it for that item. We'll move now to item 6D2.
Okay, Sarah, if you want to stop sharing. Thank you. Again, good morning, board members. Kiria Martinez, Assistant County Administrative Officer. The county entered into agreement with the California Forensic Medical Group and its management service organization, also known as WellPath, for the medical and behavioral health care services in the county local detention facilities on July 1st of last year, 2020, through June 30th of 2024. The agreement provides a system of healthcare in each facility to include on-site access to nursing, medical, behavioral health, dental, pharmacy, and radiology services. The county is entering into its second year with WellPath, and amendment is requested to add additional staffing services from WellPath. The annual expenses for the services last year was $4,406,646. Additionally, there was cost for pharmacy and offsite medical charges that the county had to pay in the amount of $250,000. So with those two costs added, the contract was budgeted at $4,886,646. The annual expense and cost caps increase each year according to the Labor Statistic Medical Care Cost Index for the Western Region, the CPI. This increase shall not exceed 5.5% in any contract year. This year, entering into the fiscal year 21-22, the contract was at $5,033,245. That was including the 3% CPI. However, due to the additional services requested from the current staffing, the cost is an additional $334,460, bringing the maximum annual expense to $5,367,705. This amount does include the offsite costs, the pharmacy cap costs, which were subject to 3% CPI and the amendment. The costs for these services are included in the proposed final budget 21-22. 4 departments currently pay for this contract. That includes the sheriff, probation, behavioral health, and public health. County administration oversees the administration and annual costs for this contract and annually meets with departments to go over the cost. The proposal today was coordinated with all departments prior to submission to the board. At this time, staff requests to approve the first amendment to the agreement between the County of Kings and the California Forensic Medical Group, Inc. for provisions of medical, behavioral health, and dental care for services for individuals detained in the Kings County Jail and Kings County Juvenile Center. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So item 2, any questions from board? I can't see if Supervisor Val is there. Maybe we clear the screen, please.
Just a moment. We're trying to get staff to stop sharing. I think she's having some difficulty.
I'm here, Mr. Chair. I have no questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I'll make the motion to accept as presented.
Second. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley.
Aye.
Doug Verboon.
Yes.
Craig Peterson.
Aye.
Richard Fagundes.
Yes.
Okay, we have 5 in favor. Motion carries. We'll now move to item 6D3. Matthew, welcome.
Yeah. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Matthew Boyette, Administrative Analyst in the Administration Office. On May 19th, 2021, the board and the Kings County Association of Governments, also known as KCAG, received a grand jury report entitled Pedestrian Safety in Kettleman City, a community's longstanding plea for improvements, in which that report actually investigated the pedestrian crossing safety concerns at State Route 41 and General Petroleum Avenue there in Kettleman City. The board and KCAG were both listed as required responses to that grand jury report. And so pursuant to section 933 of the California Penal Code, the board must submit a formal response. So as such, on August 3rd, 2021, a draft response based on KCAG's response was brought forward to your board for consideration, to which the item was tabled after discussions of relevance to the county's perspective. And so the board directed administration to go back and work with Public Works on crafting a more in-depth response. And so in that time, administration met with Public Works in crafting a more in-depth response for your consideration this morning. So I will go over the findings and recommendations again, just for the record, and then let you know of the revised response. So finding 1 in the report says, over the past 16 years, the discussions, studies, and resulting documents addressing Kettleman City have produced few tangible improvements towards reducing danger faced daily by pedestrians in all ages crossing State Route 41 in Kettleman City. To which the recommendation is that the Kings County Board of Supervisors should direct the Kings County Department of Public Works and the Kings County Community Development Agency to submit their recommendations for next steps to be taken by the County of Kings towards making tangible improvements in danger faced daily by pedestrians, particularly school-aged children in Kettleman City. To which the response for consideration today is Public Works and Administration will meet with the Caltrans Deputy Director, John, and my apologies if I'm mispronouncing his last name, Liu, spelled L-I-U, in the coming weeks to discuss possible safety options, including a roundabout or pedestrian bridge. And finding number 2 of that report states that the signage along State Route 41 approaching the Kettleman City residential area is inadequate to alert drivers of the crosswalk ahead, to which the recommendation is that the Kings County Department of Public Works should strongly advocate any and all warning signage, including solar-powered flashing beacons used by Caltrans on the state highway system to be installed along the north and southbound approaches to the residential area of the crosswalk on State Route 41 at General Petroleum Avenue. To which the revised response is, in 2019, Public Works was awarded an Active Transportation Program, or an ATP, Cycle 4 grant for $360,000 to construct a 6-foot wide asphaltic concrete pedestrian pathway along the western side of State Route 41 at General Petroleum Avenue to Edward Street. And additionally, there's solar-powered pedestrian activated rectangular flashing beacons, or RRFBs, will be installed at the existing crosswalk, which traverses State Route 41 just south of General Petroleum Avenue. Those RRFBs will simultaneously activate paired, solar-powered, post-mounted pre-warning beacons placed 165 feet upstream of the crosswalk in the northbound and southbound directions. And construction on that is actually anticipated to begin in the next 2 months. And the third and final finding of that report states the safest long-term solution to reducing the danger for pedestrians, particularly school-aged children in Kettleman City, is the construction of a pedestrian bridge spanning State Route 41, to which their recommendation is that the Board of Supervisors shall direct relevant county departments and agencies to actively seek funding from all potential funding sources identified in noted studies and plans to support the construction of a pedestrian bridge in Kettleman City. To which the response is Public Works has been and continues to seek state and federal funding for pedestrian safety projects in Kettleman City. And in March of this year, the Public Works submitted a Kettleman City pedestrian bridge project to the administrative office here in response to a call for projects based on a potential federal earmark, to which your board set that project for the bridge as its top priority. And though the county's efforts to secure federal funding for that project was unsuccessful, the county was actually successful in securing $2 million in state funding for this project. So with those revised responses to the report, the recommendation before your board this morning is to approve the response for the grand jury report titled Pedestrian Safety in Kettleman City, a community's long-standing plea for improvements.
Very good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Madam Council, one quick question. Do we need to formally remove this from the table, or we can just act on it as is?
Are you asking if you need to formally review the report, or do you need to formally review the KCAG, remove the KCAG one?
I'm just asking, do we need, it was tabled last week. And,
No, it's back on the agenda. So right now it's an active agenda item.
okay, very good. Thank you. With that, questions from the board. Supervisor Raleigh.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, first of all, I want to thank the board for the patience on this and thank staff for following up. And it was only right to add the county's work and the county's efforts to this report, so we have a refreshed record in the timeline here moving forward. I like it. I think it accomplishes that. The only thing that confuses me is the response in number 1, and I apologize for just now catching it. I actually, when Mr. Boyette said it, is how I caught it. But the response where it says our Public Works and Kings County Administration will meet with Caltrans to discuss possible safety options, including a roundabout or pedestrian bridge. I think it's fair for that to read, including a roundabout and pedestrian bridge, because I wouldn't want Caltrans to assume that that is up in the air. I mean, we did a lot of work. We voted, we made it the bridge, the priority, the community. It was much appreciated last Thursday. I'm going to talk about that in my report out here in a minute. But the roundabout, obviously the pedestrian bridge is a solution for the safety of the crossing for those, especially those school age kids as mentioned. The roundabout, what Dominic and I heard a lot, just being out, him and I out in Kettleman City a lot lately, was that they actually like that idea because as the board knows, we've heard many times that when that highway is gridlocked, when people are on the coast, you have members of the community who are trying to leave Kettleman and they hit the stop sign and they want to go north or south on Highway 41, but no one lets them in. And what we heard last week again was members of the community saying that they're stuck at that stop sign, sometimes up for 30 minutes, just trying to, make a quick run to Walmart in Hanford to get some basics. So I think the discussion for both of those is something that the community is up for. And if the board is up for that as well, if we could just make that simple amendment, Mr. Chair, to delete or and add the word and, A-N-D. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Very good. Thank you.
Mr.
Spikes.
Mr. Chair, it's Larry Spikes. Yeah, I don't know if we have no problem with that. Caltrans actually has requested this meeting. And so we will be discussing that. And we would have no problem with including and in there. I would propose one additional change though. The last sentence under recommendation number 3, the board set the Kettleman City pedestrian bridge project as its top priority. And though the county's effort to secure federal funding was unsuccessful, I'm not sure that's actually over yet. I understand Senator Padilla has included it in his list. So I thought we had made a change, but it didn't make it to the final version that said, although the county's effort to secure federal funding is still pending, the county was successful in securing $2 million in state funding for this project. So that I would propose that change as well.
Okay. Further questions on the item? Okay, board, what's your pleasure in the amended action?
Mr. Chair, if there's no other further discussion, I'd like to make the motion to include the amendment proposed by myself and Mr. Spikes. Thanks, Mr. Chair.
Very good. Thank you. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley,
Aye.
Doug Verboon.
Yes.
Craig Peterson.
Aye.
Richard Fagundes.
Yes.
Okay, we have 5 in favor. Motion carries. Now move to item. Matthew, thank you. We'll move to item 6E, which is from the Public Health Department. And Ms. Pickens, welcome.
Good morning. There we go. Good morning, Chairman, members of the board, Darcy Pickens, Public Health. I would like to start my report as Ed always does by reminding everyone of the simple steps we can take to protect ourselves from communicable diseases such as COVID-19. Frequently wash your hands for 20 seconds or more. Do not touch your face with unwashed hands. Stay hydrated with water. A hydrated cell is a healthy cell. I'll get it. It's all right. Stay home if you are sick. Wear face masks and continue to protect those unvaccinated around you, and finally get vaccinated. Also, as a reminder, our daily numbers are available on our website. We continue to watch hospital data closely. Regional hospital admissions in med-surg and ICU are continuing to increase, including here in our local hospital. As of 8/16 yesterday, the local hospital had 55 in med-surg and 8 patients in the ICU. This includes 2 virtual hospital patients. That's a practice that's been re-implemented by the hospital to decrease crowding while maintaining appropriate levels of care. And of those admitted, 41 are Kings County residents. As you know, hospitals work on a regional basis, meaning they admit patients from other counties, not just Kings County residents. A new state health officer order effective tomorrow, August 18th, directs general and acute care hospitals to implement certain surge capacity protocols aimed at protecting ongoing access to care through this current surge. These protocols include first notifying the Medical and Health Operations Coordinator, or MOOC, local health officer, and CDPH when certain capacity triggers are met. The second parameter directs the regional and then statewide acceptance of transfer patients as directed by the MOOC, or Regional Disaster Medical Health Specialist, RDMHS. This is required when a region has less than 10% of staffed adult ICU beds for 3 consecutive days, or when an individual acute care hospital has 0 ICU capacity. And finally, the order lays out parameters around the acceptance of these transfers, such as prompt notification of accepting those transfer requests and compliance with the Federal Emergency Medical Treatment and Active Labor Act. Additionally, the Emergency Medical Services Agency, EMSA, has re-implemented their assess and refer policy in response to the increasing volume of pre-hospital calls and overcapacity of local emergency departments. This policy directs a paramedic or EMT to refer a patient to urgent care or to their provider instead of being transported to the hospital. The referral is only made after a full assessment has occurred and the patient exhibits no emergent condition that would require immediate transport to an emergency room. Our PPE status has not changed, and we are still maintaining a 60-day supply of PPE for our healthcare facility. The mobile testing program site schedule for this week is on our website, and the availability of testing continues to increase. We have added sites. We're also seeing an increase in demand pretty significantly. And as mentioned last week, that's resulting in turnaround times that can be up to 72 hours. There are still days when we get them back in 24, but there's more of a range these days. We continue to see a slight increase in cases, 572 last week, bringing our new case count since the surge started to 1,834 cases. During the first several weeks of the new surge, we were seeing a doubling of cases each week. Over the last 3 weeks, this hasn't been the case. So we're hoping that's a good sign and the trend either levels off or starts to decline. Last week, we saw the most significant rise in cases among the 0 to 11 age group. This is to be expected as school starts, and of course, 0 to 11-year-olds are not eligible for vaccination at this point. Our Delta variant case count has also increased to 96 this week. We have reported that we are anticipating this increase as the state lab is running behind, and we anticipate the number will continue to increase as they work on getting caught up and reporting those numbers. Similarly, the variant continues to spread, and there are currently 10,507 reported cases of the Delta variant in California, which again, we believe is underreported at this point. Last week, Public Health administered 390 vaccines, which is a significant improvement over the weeks prior. This increase in demand for vaccination is encouraging. It is one of our main tools to prevent hospitalizations, so we're happy to see people coming through those doors. A lot more walk-ins than we have seen in recent weeks. So far, Kings County providers have administered 96,779 vaccines to county residents. We have 9,383 partially vaccinated residents and 44,940 fully vaccinated residents. On May 14th, we started vaccinating the 12 to 15 population. So far, Kings County providers have administered 4,050 vaccines to this age group. We also saw a slight increase there in the past week or so before school started. After FDA and CDC approval of vaccine boosters for the immunocompromised last week, the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices met over the weekend to review and confirm their recommendation for boosters in this population. It is expected that the statewide clinic management and appointment system, My Turn, will be updated later this week to begin registering people for booster appointments, at which time the health department will also begin offering this service. Boosters right now are only available to those who received an mRNA vaccine, that is Pfizer or Moderna, and they must have completed the series at least 1 month prior to receiving their third shot. So the schedule is a little bit different there for the boosters. We do expect expect to see approval for boosters for additional populations, particularly those over 65 in the coming weeks. So we'll keep you posted there. Our current breakthrough rate is about 0.2% of our vaccinated population, which is again a slight increase from last week, but still very low and still in line with what we would expect for vaccine efficacy. On August 11th, the state health officer issued an additional health officer order covering vaccine verification for workers in public and private K through 12 schools. The order requires K through 12 schools to verify the vaccine status of all workers who provide services in the school setting no later than October 15th, 2021. Workers who are unvaccinated, partially vaccinated, and those who have not provided vaccine status must undergo weekly testing either with a PCR or antigen. The takeaway from this week's report is that we are returning to a time when there are frequent, rapid changes to the COVID landscape, and we can expect these changes to continue through the current surge. A layered approach to mitigation measures continues to be critical and includes vaccination, masking, testing, hand hygiene, and isolating when you're sick. This concludes my report, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Good, thank you. Questions from the board?
I have one, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Darcy, with some of these universities requiring the students to show proof of a test prior to entering the dorms, or just some of these different regulations that are out there, what's the quickest turnaround? I know you mentioned there's still areas of the county for a 24-hour to 72-hour, but I'm hearing that the universities are asking for a negative test result within the past 72 hours before you can move into your dorm. So do you have a suggestion for us in the public on the quickest way? Is it going to Hanford versus going to Avenel or to Corcoran to get these test results turned around?
Really, the location that you go to should not matter when you're going to a health department clinic or mobile site. Those all come back to Hanford at the end of the day and are shipped out every day except Sunday. So Tuesday tends to be one of our heaviest days kind of statewide, and it does typically take longer on Tuesdays to get results back when you test Tuesday, I should say. Outside of that, it really depends on volume, and we've seen a pretty dramatic increase in volume from week to week, so it's a little hard to predict. Most folks will get their results within 72 hours, although of course, once they leave us, then the courier picks them up. It's kind of out of our hands at that point. There's also rapid testing available throughout the county at different locations, not through the health department, but if a university or school allows for antigen testing, that is also an option.
Okay. Thank you. That's good information. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Further questions from the board? Mr. Spikes.
Mr. Chairman, as I've been doing over the last several weeks, I just want to give you an update regarding the county workforce. We have approximately 45 cases active as we speak as of yesterday. And I think last week I was mistaken when I told you the number of 20 is when we would administratively talk about the use of masks. Actually, it's more like 3. So in that particular situation, we do have masks in place in the Human Services Agency because that has been the most active situation with respect to an outbreak. And so just want to make sure your board's aware of that. We will continue to administratively monitor these situations and take appropriate action.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Hey, Mr. Chair, can I ask a follow-up to that, Mr. Spikes, on the 40, when you say 45 county employees active, does that mean 45 positive tests, or does that mean that some folks had to go home and quarantine because due to contact tracing?
My understanding is that's 45 active positive cases. There are a number of other people who have been exposed that are quarantined and the department's working with us. We take appropriate action to determine what the best situation could be if they can work remotely or not. And so some of them are in that situation. If they're home sick, though, we don't want them to be working.
No, yes, sir. Do we have a total of our county employees who are quarantined because of the contact tracing of these
I
45?
I don't have that number with me. No, sir. Sorry.
Okay. Hey, thank you, Mr. Spikes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Okay, one last time. Any other questions? Right, Darcy, thank you. Okay.
Wash your hands.
Yeah. We do have a public hearing scheduled, but I'm going to take a 2-minute break and be right back.
Wash your hands.
All right, at this time, we'll reconvene and move to item 7, which is a public hearing. And with that, we'll move to administration.
I believe the person that's
It's-
going to
it's-
present has not stepped back in the room.
Okay.
That's correct. He is not back here yet.
Too quick on the draw.
Yeah. Designated hitter.
You're up, Dom.
We're live, Josh. All right. You're on.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, good morning. Domingo Cruz, one of your administrative analysts in the administrative office. So this morning, I'm here to request that your board conduct a public hearing to receive testimony on the development impact fees, including construction schedule of public facilities related to the collection of development impact fees, the proposed adjustments to the development impact fees, adopt a resolution which includes a construction schedule for public facilities as detailed within ordinance number 633, establishing development impact fees in Kings County. And select one of the following options in regards to adjusting the developmental impact fees. One, adjust the development impact fee amount based on the percentage change in the engineering use record construction cost index, which is a 1.59% increase, having the new fees become effective October 18th, 2021. Number two, adjust the development impact fee amounts based on a percentage determined by your board. And number three, adopt new fee increase, which the impact fees will remain at October 18, 2019 levels. So on June 21st, 2005, your board adopted ordinance number 633 for developmental impact fees. In order to collect the fees in an annual basis, it is required that we come back to your board and update the construction schedule and give you an update on the impact fee budget and everything that goes with it. So in your agenda packet, you have the agenda item, requesting for public hearing, requesting adopting the resolution for the developmental impact fees, and to select an option in regards to adjusting the fees. There is also a copy of the resolution and several exhibits. Exhibit A is the construction schedule. The ordinance requires that the development of a construction schedule, which must be reviewed by your board annually. So this schedule was part of the required 5-year report that your board approved early this year. Exhibit B is the fee table, which is updated by using the engineering news record construction cost index for the city of Los Angeles and the city of San Francisco. So going over the history of the fees for Kings County, this year shows a proposed 1.59% increase in the fees. Going over the past 5 years, in 2016, it called for a 2.48% increase, and your board adopted a 2.48% increase. In 2017, it called for a 2.0% increase, and your board adopted a 2.0% increase. But in 2018, it called for a 3.16% increase, and your board adopted a 0% increase. In 2019, it called for a 2.16% increase, and your board adopted a 2.16% increase. And last year, in 2020, it called for a 3.58% increase, and your board adopted a 0% increase. So going over the Exhibit C, the impact fee financial report, it shows the history of all the financials of all the development of impact fees. So since 2005 to 2006, when we started, we have accumulated about $10.1 million in impact fees. That's including the interest. To date, $4.4 million has been encumbered or spent, leaving a balance of about $5.7 million as of June 30, 2021. Those fees are adjusted by the engineering use record construction cost index for Los Angeles and San Francisco areas, as mentioned earlier. And Exhibit D is your public facility fee change calculation, which is done in an annual basis. And we use the month of March from the previous year to this year to do that calculation. So San Francisco was averaging 2.55%, and Los Angeles was averaging 0.63%. As far as the required 5-year report, so the next one is due in 2025, as the current one was completed and approved by your board early this year, which is on January 12th, 2021. So we did send out the required notices for this hearing on July 30th, 2021. Those were sent to the Building Industry Association of Tulare/Kings Counties, the gas company, the cities of Corcoran, Hanford, Lemoore, and Avenal. We also had the notice published in the Hanford Sentinel on August 3rd, 2021, and August 12th, 2021. So with that, and barring any questions, staff is recommending that your board conduct a public hearing to receive testimony on the development impact fees, including construction schedule of public facilities related to the collection of development impact fees, the proposed adjustments to the development impact fees, adopt a resolution, which includes a construction schedule, which is Exhibit A for public facilities as detailed within ordinance number 633, establishing development impact fees in Kings County. And select one of the following options in regards to adjusting the development impact fees. Again, number one, adjust the development impact fee amounts based on the percentage change in the engineering use record construction cost index, a 1.59% increase, having the new fees become effective October 18, 2021. Number two, adjust the development impact fee amounts based on a percentage determined by the board. Or number three, adopt no fee increase, which the impact fees will remain at October 18, 2019 levels. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Domingo. Questions from the board? Okay, seeing none, at this time, we'll go ahead and open the public hearing. Madam Clerk, do we have anyone who wishes to provide testimony?
I do not have anyone with their hand raised or written comments.
Okay, once, twice, three times. Okay, then at this time, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing and bring it back to the board for discussion and action this time.
Mr. Chair, construction costs have gone up. Wages have gone up. I think we ought to just have no changes on this project at this time and just go ahead and let the compounding take care of itself.
Okay. So that's a motion. It's an motion, and that would be
number three.
In item 3. Further discussion from the board? Questions?
I would second that, Mr. Chairman, in agreement
Thank
with
you.
Mr. Neves.
Yep, and we had a second. Sorry about that.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Okay.
No worries. All right. With that, then, Madam Clerk, we have a motion and second. Would you please call the roll?
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley,
Aye.
Doug Verboon,
Yes.
Craig Peterson,
Aye.
Richard Fagundes.
Yes.
Okay, we have 5 in favor, motion carries. And we continue to try and help affordable housing in California, right?
Thank you.
All right. This time, next on the agenda is item 8, which is board member announcements, comments, and reports. And I heard Supervisor Valley say he had his ready.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just very quickly, I just wanted to thank staff, Dominic, and all his staff there for helping in Kettleman City. It's exciting over there right now for the improvements that are being talked about and people putting their money where their mouth is. And so they see that and they appreciate that. So we had a good presentation last Thursday. Assemblymember Salas came to town. He brought the $2 million big check presentation. And I know Dominic is following up to get information on and Kyria on the actual money, which is, that check's written out to the County of Kings. So hopefully we get that money soon. And I want to thank Dominic and staff, admin, for getting the conversation going with Caltrans to move forward on that. And then also the kids, the students that were there, they did send a thank you to the Board of Supervisors as well. They had hand painted a big sign that said, "Thank you, Kings County Board of Supervisors." So I want the board to know that and be aware of that. And then I want to thank Sheriff Robinson for coming out and being a part of that. I want to thank DA Keith Fagundes for coming to the community and being a part of that special day as well. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Supervisor Verboon.
Thank you. Last Thursday, we had our first drought task force meeting. And I want to thank Amanda Verhage for putting it on. During the meeting, we had a lot of agencies that came on board. The first one that spoke was the weather outlet, the weather station here in Hanford, and talked about that we're still in a 2012 drought. We only got a relief in 2017 because the atmospheric rivers came through here and helped us out, which they cannot predict. So he's predicting right now that for the next 9 months, we're above lack of rainfall, below rainfall amounts coming next 9 months, so the drought will continue to get worse. We had multiple agencies talk about what they're doing, from self-help to KCAO and getting food and help people with water systems. Amanda also announced that she is leaving that department, and so she turned over this drought task force to KCAO. Jeff Gardner will be in charge, putting it together. We'll probably meet once a month and talk about what's going on. I know we have 11 tanks here in King County today. In the region, we have 450 tanks for the people out of water. This will only continue to get worse. So we want to be prepared so that there's a one-stop shop. People, when they make a phone call, no matter who they call, we all have the information we can get to them. So very important. And I want to wish Amanda the best and thank her for putting it together.
So we have 11 tanks. Are those in service or we have them available for
No,
service?
there's 11 tanks being used today with people in wells that have gone dry, but they're getting up to 500 phone calls a day of people with issues. I know I've handled it myself, and that's what brought this meeting on. I want to have all the answers at my fingertips when someone calls, because there's nothing worse than not having any water to run your household. So self-help is there. They're ready for the challenge. I went by Noesco, which makes the tanks here in Kings County, and there was probably 15 trucks lined up loading up tanks, getting them distributed. So this is not like Kings County, it's all Western United States that's happening to them. So it could get worse. It could get better with some rain, but we need to manage our water a little better and deal with it. So I think we're up for the challenge.
And also during that meeting, we talked about well drillers. Some of them have a 30-day response, some of them are 6 months behind. As well as different funding mechanisms, the PACE program, White Green, some of the other HERO programs that will assist those homeowners in meeting that new demand. Should it be a well need to be replaced or some kind of upgrade?
Yep. Yeah, I just hope that, full exposure to, some of those companies and the limitations they place on you being able to sell your property if you get to the point where you need to sell it, because it does place a hold on title.
Yeah, and I also sat in on a meeting with the USDA with Aubrey Bettencourt, some other programs that are out there for municipality and businesses that can have access to funds to replace their systems, also increase their solar productivity too.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff happening right now. Gotta be aware of it.
Yeah, the problem is just getting the components. Some of the components are hard to get, whether they're switching gear, electrical components. They're just a backlog of demand for some of the products. And so that's creating a problem too.
Tariff issues with they come from other overseas.
Other countries
sitting out in the ocean waiting to offload. So
trying to get it through the dock system and through.
Lack of workers.
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you. Supervisor Fagundes.
Yeah, I had a misfortune this week. I went to the coast, got burnt like a lobster, so it wasn't good, as you could see. But I'm still, I guess I'm still learning at my age to stay home.
I don't think it's a home. I mean, they got to get control here. You can still go out. You just got to pay attention. Like
I've had your advice already today. Sit under the tree.
The ambassador of Kings County to Pismo. Yeah. So what was how was the Portuguese celebration?
Well, it was 21 or 22 queens. And in the past, we've had, in the future years past, at one time, I think it's up to about 48, 50.
Yeah.
And I find people are really trying to get out, but it's taking time. They're really cautious. With that, if I get bitter, I'll go back next year. If I don't, if it's raining in August.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You better give me a hand.
one of those with a solar.
I got one for Joe.
Yeah,
Big sunburn. We'll get one with a solar on it.
yeah.
Then we can make use of your time on.
Put it,
No
yeah.
matter what comes
Put it
up
up
in
his mouth.
it's all.
All right, all right. Okay. We're getting out of control now.
Yeah.
Supervisor Neff.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The census information came out with a preliminary release of population data. I think Supervisor Verboten made a few statements on some of the preliminary data that was released. Look forward to as they drill down and formalize some of the other numbers as we move forward and trying to work on redistricting and reapportionment. Webinar on the recently passed infrastructure investment and jobs bill. That's going to be one, if you know, the largest federal investment, in many of those dollars are going to go towards mass transportation, roads, bridges, power grids, and water improvements. I think the biggest takeaway I had on that project is that a lot of that will be digital now instead of requiring hard copy plans and as-built. And so that's going to be something interesting as we need to improve some of our digital capacity to be able to transmit some of those plans and ideas. Lamar High School Bond Oversight Committee meeting was delivered on Thursday. Kathy chairs that committee, and hopefully there'll be one more. They've been very efficient at spending money, and that bond is almost expended. The Kings County Chamber had a mixer at the Ceremony Museum on Thursday. It was a little bit warm, but they had great food and shared the museum, of which the chamber is the owner of, as a matter of fact. The American Legion breakfast took place on Friday. Kathy and I attended the Corcoran Farmers and Artisans Market. I did buy peaches and bananas. The peaches were in pies and the bananas were in the bread, but it was still, they're still products, you know, so it worked out very, very well. The Lamar Raceway action continued on Saturday night with the warm temperatures. Race times were pushed back. And so we got a little bit of a later start, but we still had 83 cars attend, and it was a nice event. The Portuguese ancestry, one of the groups had a webinar yesterday, in fact. Polices has been around for about 30 years and promotes the American advocacy for the people of Portuguese heritage. Portugal and the Azores are a very progressive part of the world right now, but the history of the culture and the traditions are still neat to understand. And as Supervisor Fagundes has been involved with many of those celebrations throughout the valley, and especially when you go to the ones in Pismo or Gustine or some of the larger events, they're really a really neat thing to watch firsthand. And then yesterday, the Kings County Homeless Collaborative had a meeting, continue to talk about low barrier shelters and hopefully some funding opportunities, and trying to zero in on a real estate management individual that'll help locate us a location that will meet both zoning conditions and fit into the community. So we continue to work towards those efforts as well. With that, thank you, Mr. Chair.
You bet you. And as far as I have, just a couple of items, and just kind of following up on Supervisor Verboen's comments, you know, to this morning, watching some of the reports, Lake Mead, Hoover Dam, lowest levels it's been since Hoover Dam was built. Curtailments to all of the folks on the Colorado River, which includes the Metropolitan Water District down in LA. It's unfortunate that we've gotten to this point and we still haven't invested in water storage and updates in our infrastructure with a system that was built to serve 15 million people, and we're at 44 million. But, I guess those will be the hard lessons learned. And it's unfortunate. We've been yelling about it for years and years. Secondly, the nominating committee, the Greater Kings County Chamber of Commerce for the Agriculturist of the Year met yesterday. We had a 1-year hiatus due to COVID, and the committee stepped forward and made its choices yesterday, and those will be coming to the public soon. Just save the date for September 10th in the evening. I think it's 6:30 or 7 for that event, and as well as I'm sure the sheriff would appreciate the quick notice of the posse dinner, the posse crab feed on the 11th as well out at Burst Park. All right, with that, we'll move to board correspondence. Spikes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the board. I don't have any board correspondence, but before I forget, for the record, when I announced Mr. Hill's appointment as the county administrative officer, I did indicate it was a unanimous vote, but I failed to indicate his compensation is going to be $16,667 per month for the record.
Oh, I thought that was a year. I'll have to rethink that.
I'll go back and check my notes. No.
Okay.
So anyway, on upcoming meetings, events, blood drive tomorrow at 9 o'clock to 2 p.m. The Blood Mill Building parking lot near the Human Services Agency, Building 12, and otherwise known as the Old Jury parking lot. Then Hanford Leo Club Drive, blood drive, August 23rd, 4 to 7 p.m. at the Salvation Army, Hanford, 380 East Ivy Street in Hanford. Kings County Sheriff's Posse Crab Feed, September 11th at Burris Park. Gates open at 6. Tickets are $150, all you can eat crab and tri-tip. Then there's lastly on the events is the Links for Life Pink Passion Picnic at Hanford Civic Auditorium, October 20th, 2021 at 10:30. As far as upcoming agenda items, admin will be bringing the statement of work to be authorized by your board with Ernst & Young for auditing services for the California Department of Water Resources State Water Project. That's part of Kings County's responsibilities as a state water project contractor. But the costs of that will all be paid by the folks that currently use the water down on the lake bottom. Ag will be bringing the cooperative agreement with the California Department of Food and Ag for the county's nursery inspections program, as well as the release of the 2020 Ag Crop Report for Kings County. Behavioral health will have an agreement with Aegis Treatment Centers for outpatient narcotic treatment. Finance has a few items, one of which is the resolution authorizing Director of Finance to provide dry period financing. A resolution authorizing Director of Finance to make transfers from the Treasury pool. And lastly, Mr. Erb is wanting to bring to your board some travel policy updates. Health Department will, of course, have the COVID-19 update. Also, the California Reportable Disease Information Exchange System Use and Disclosure Agreement. Human Services Agency will have the Project Roomkey Personal Security Services Agreement with Good Guard Security Services. Probation have the Kingsview Youth Treatment Services. Public Works, the fiscal year 2021 SB1 funding, Kings County Roadway Improvement Project surveying. And lastly, there will be an appeal by Kingsview Corporation regarding behavioral health recommendation for a contract award regarding children's behavioral health services. And that's it as far as I know today.
Right. Very good. Thank you. All right. Next on the agenda, we have closed session. Before I announce that, we'll just identify that we do have at 11 o'clock, the California Community Housing Agency regularly scheduled meeting. And then following that at 1:30 this afternoon, we'll have a special budget hearing that will be held today. And will be continued to Wednesday, August 18th, 2021, if necessary. Budget hearings may continue from day to day until completed, but not to exceed 14 calendar days. The next regularly scheduled meeting of the board will be Tuesday, August 24th, 2021 at 9 a.m. Back to the closed session. Today we have 2 items. We have significant exposure to litigation, one case, Government Code Section 54956.9 D2. The second item is personnel matter, Government Code Section 54957, Public Employee Appointment, County Council. And I don't believe that we have too extensive of time commitment on those. We should be able to get those accomplished before 11 o'clock.
I think that's possible.
Okay. All right. And with that, anything further to come before the board? Seeing none, we'll move to closed session. Meeting adjourned.
Hey, guys, you there?
What kind of, where'd you get it from?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir. We hear you loud and clear, Scott.
Perfect. Good morning, guys. How you doing?
Good, good. How about yourself, sir?
Good.
We're just waiting on Supervisor Valley.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
Oh, there he is.
All right, there he is. Right. Today is Tuesday, August 17th, and this is a regularly scheduled meeting of the California Community Housing Agency. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Joe Nevs.
Here.
Richard Valley.
Here.
Doug Verboon. Craig Peterson.
Here.
Richard Fagundes.
Okay, we have 5 here present. We'll move to item 2, which is approval of the minutes from the June 29th, 2021 regular meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Joe Nevs.
Yes.
Richard Valley.
Aye.
Doug Verboon.
Yes.
Craig Peterson.
Aye.
Richard Fagundes.
Okay, we have 5 in favor. Motion carries. We'll move now to the consent calendar as presented.
Approve the consent calendar as presented.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Joe Nevs.
Yes.
Richard Valley.
Aye.
Doug Verboon.
Yes.
Craig Peterson.
Aye.
Richard Fagundes.
All right, we have 5 in favor. Motion carries. We'll move now to item 4, which is new business. Scott, what's up?
Yes, perfect. Hello, everyone. So we got 2 new transactions that are before you guys today. So let me start off with the first one here. It's called Summit at Sausalito. So this is 198 units, a multifamily rental housing facility, obviously in Sausalito. So Marin County actually was one of the first adopters to join CalCHA back in 2019. So they've joined and they've approved CalCHA issuing these bonds for this project. Again, they joined back in 19, but now we finally have a transaction there. So they're super excited about it. So this is currently obviously 100% market rate rental community. CalCHA's role, you guys, I mean, this isn't our first rodeo. It's going to be the same as all the other deals we've closed to date. CalCHA is being asked to consider the issuance of up to 180 million of governmental purpose bonds for the acquisition of the project, which is Summit at Sausalito. CalCHA is going to enter into a property management agreement with Greystar. Greystar currently does a couple of the other CalCHA assets. CalCHA is also going to enter into a project administration agreement with Catalyst Housing. They're going to oversee Greystar, as well as, any other capital projects that need to get done at the property. And then again, there's going to be some financial reporting that we have to do, and CalCHA will assist us with all that reporting at the project level. So you guys are well aware of our program. Again, CalCHA is going to acquire this project, and we're going to put in some income and rent restricted throughout the duration of CalCHA's ownership to households earning no more than 120% of the area median income. Again, CalCHA has a non-displacement policy, so as soon as we acquire this, it's not like we go in and kick people out that don't qualify under that 120% of AMI. County Marin, again, they've joined, they're a member, they're super excited about the opportunity. And then, gentlemen, again, all the same team members, the same structure as all the other CalCHA deals that we've done. Nothing has changed. We have all the same protections. We also have that extraordinary expense fund of $500K for any sort of IRS audit or anything that could pop up. And that's it. So this transaction is looking to close kind of mid-September, but before you guys today for approval, and I can take questions if the board has any.
Okay, very good. Thanks, Scott. Questions from the board?
No questions, comments, move for approval.
Nev seconds.
Okay, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Joe Nevs.
Yes.
Richard Valley.
Aye.
Doug Verboon.
Yes.
Craig Peterson.
Aye.
Richard Fagundes.
Okay, we have 5 in favor. Motion carries to accept resolution 21-07 alpha. Now we'll move to item 4B.
Yeah, perfect. So this is the second opportunity that's before you guys today. This transaction is called the Exchange at Bayfront. This is a 172 unit multifamily housing facility. This is in the city of Hercules. Again, currently being operated as a 100% market rate rental community. This project, unlike the Summit, also includes 14,000 square feet of retail space that is mostly leased up. Again, CalCHA's role is going to be the same. This project is a little bit smaller. Couch is being asked to consider the issuance of up to 165 million of governmental purpose bonds to acquire this project. We are going to enter into a property management agreement with Greystar as well for this transaction. And we're also going to enter into a project administration agreement with Catalyst Housing, and they will oversee Greystar and help us with any sort of financial reporting. Same thing as always. Again, these are going to be income and rent restricted to anyone earning 80 to 120% AMI. Non-displacement policy, we won't be kicking anyone out. The city of Hercules has joined CalCHA and has approved the issuance of these bonds. So that's all taken place. And, same finance team, same protection, same structure, same documents. Nothing has changed here. And can take questions now on the exchange if you guys have any.
Very good. Thank you. Questions from the board?
Move approval. Nev seconds.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley,
Aye.
Doug Verboon,
Yes.
Craig Peterson,
Aye.
Richard Fagundes.
Yes.
Okay, we have 5 in favor. Motion carries approving resolution 21-08 alpha. So now we'll move to public comment. Any person may directly address the board at this time on any item on the agenda or other items of interest to the public that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board. 5 minutes are allowed for each item.
I have no one with their hands raised, and I have not received any written comments.
Okay, very good. We'll move to item 6, which is staff update. Scott, you have anything for us?
No real updates. We do have a couple other irons in the fire right now and potential other opportunities. And obviously, if those come to fruition, we'll be back before you guys for approvals. But thanks for taking the time today.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Any other items to come for the board at this time? Seeing none, meeting adjourned.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.